I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.
The song no longer sung, yet never forgotten. July 2025. No countdown, no teaser, no announcement. And yet the world still waits. Behind a screen that no longer lights up, two names still echo like whispered prayers in the hearts of those who love them. Kim Taehyung and Jungkook. They never said goodbye, but they didn't return either. And somewhere between no and not yet, something deeper than loss was born. Discovery. Taehyung, a man who no longer belongs to the world. He once was a moving painting. Every glance was a scene. Every step a poem. Now he lives beyond the frame. Not because he gave up on the world, but because he realized he no longer belonged to it. He was last seen at an art exhibit in a small village near Gyeongju. He stood in front of a blank canvas for 2 hours. No photos. No words. A visitor whispered. He wasn't looking at art. He was quietly learning how to be just a person. And maybe that's his purpose now. To be not a star but a man. Jungkook, a shadow behind an unnamed studio. In Los Angeles, piano notes float from the attic of a studio with no sign. But the neighbors know. That's Jungkook. He's not singing songs. He's stitching wounds note by note. No AR shows. No promos. Just music that sounds like a heart slowly healing itself. A former sound engineer, now anonymous, confessed. He said, "This time it's not for the charts. It's for his own breath." He no longer performs for the spotlight. He creates for silence, because only there can he truly hear himself. HYBE, a stage that can no longer choreograph movement. No press release. No official conference. Only one line quietly passed from an internal source. They can no longer be owned. And for an industry used to scripting every second of an idol's life, two artists choosing silence is a rebellion more terrifying than scandal. Investors grew nervous. Schedules unraveled. But the fans? The fans began to understand. Army, loving in the quiet. One user on Twitter wrote, "They're not lost. We're just being asked to wait, with no promise of return." The tweet received 2 million likes. There is no fandom that can love in silence like Army can. They've learned that true love is not about asking for more, but about letting go if that's what's needed. Some began writing letters they'll never send. Others light candles in their rooms at 10 p.m., the hour when V Live used to begin. Two lines no longer parallel but never separated. When Taehyung posted a photo of the twilight sky with no caption, Jungkook uploaded a sound of rain. When Jungkook sketched a silhouette of a bird in flight, Taehyung photographed his hand resting on wet earth. They don't mention each other's names, but their stories reply to one another, as if to say, "We're still in the same universe, just not on the same screen." This isn't goodbye. This is a wordless prayer. Many ask, are they still BTS? Is this the end? But those who truly listen know the answer. They are more BTS now than ever before. No cameras. No scripts. Only honest presence. Because being BTS is not about performing. It's about surviving without losing yourself. And perhaps this is what love really means. Love isn't a concert. Not a fan chant. Not a trending tag. Love is when we don't force them to return. Because we want them whole more than we want them visible. And maybe the greatest love isn't the one that waits by the stage, but the one that waits in prayer, in writing, in silence that still feels warm. The ending that was never written. Maybe they will come back. Maybe they won't. Maybe we'll hear a new song. Or just the kind of silence that still touches. But one thing is certain. Legends don't need stages to shine. They just need space to breathe. And if one day they appear again, it won't be because they're returning to the industry, but because they miss the music they once loved in its truest form. When two stars become a home without an address. August 2025. The sky remains the same, but somehow it feels different. Seoul is bustling again. Stages are being built, comebacks announced. Yet one space remains empty. And everyone knows who used to stand there. Taehyung and Jungkook. Two names that don't need to be spoken, because even in silence they are felt. Jungkook, a melody that heals the wounds never spoken. In a small studio hallway in Echo Park, Los Angeles, a song plays only after midnight. No title, no tagged artist, and yet everyone who hears it knows. It belongs to Jungkook. Someone posted a piece of anonymous lyrics on Reddit. I once was your voice, but now I want to be a voice for myself. One line, yet it silenced an entire fandom. Because that wasn't just a lyric. It was a confession. That even the most gifted vocalist sometimes needs silence to hear his own soul. Taehyung, a man learning to love the world without the spotlight. In Busan, an old barista mentioned a quiet man with a sad smile who stops by every Monday morning. Just to order warm tea and sit for 2 hours. Reading ancient Japanese poetry. He doesn't say much, the barista said. But he always leaves a tip and a dried flower. And somehow, whenever that flower is left behind, the entire cafe feels quieter. As if he didn't just leave, but left behind a silence others could absorb. HYBE, when silence becomes a crisis that cannot be named. They tried to fill the void with new projects, new units, variety shows, international collabs. But under every post, the comments echoed the same. We see your efforts, but we still hear their voices even when they don't speak. Not even AI can replicate the magnetism born from a genuine soul. Someone from HYBE's creative team admitted. We were used to controlling the light. But now we're learning there's beauty in the shadows. ARMY, redefining loyalty in letters and silence. Instead of protests, they send flowers. Instead of angry hashtags, they write poetry. One fan letter was sent to the LA studio rumored to house Jungkook. We don't know where you are. But if you're reading this, we want you to know we're still singing. Even when you can't hear us. That letter was answered with a 43-second instrumental track posted anonymously on SoundCloud. But every ARMY knew. It was his reply. Taekook, a bond that needs no declaration. Fans began noticing patterns, too beautiful to be mere coincidence. Taehyung posted a photo of a bird against the evening sky. 2 days later, Jungkook uploaded an audio clip of wind and a soft whisper. If you can fly, fly slowly. I'll catch up. No names. No explanations. But the world understood. This is love, not seeking definition, just presence. When love no longer seeks to be seen by the world. They no longer belong to the screen. No longer part of any schedule. But they remain part of our lives. In ways more human, more honest. One fan wrote, I no longer wait for their comeback. I just hope they eat breakfast in peace. And sleep without crying tonight. And perhaps that's the truest form of love. The kind that stops demanding and starts praying. Music that is no longer sold but given freely. Their works have begun appearing in unexpected places. An indie film played a soft piano piece not listed in any music database. A Tokyo museum displayed a silhouette painting signed JKXTH. A street musician in Paris played a melody he called a gift from a quiet Korean friend. The world is slowly realizing. They never left. They just changed form. A chapter never printed but memorized. Not every story needs a stage. Not every legend needs a second peek. Because true legends aren't born from victories, but from the choice to remain whole. When the world wants to break them apart. That's what Jungkook and Taehyung are doing. Choosing to stay whole. Stars never retire. They simply shift orbits. So they can see us from a quieter angle. If you want them to return, wait. Not with noise, but with space. With patience. With love that isn't afraid of absence. Because only then will they know. This world is still worth coming back to.